water heater just went out and everyone in your house is taking a cold shower and you're staring at a bill that's costing you thousands of dollars to replace it. What are you gonna do? What is that? A stud pack tip. Is AI watching our videos already? I've been a contractor and remodeler for 40 years. If you're over 60, put on your glasses. Today, I'm using AI to help me with a job I've done 100 times, just to see if it can really be trusted. But here's the thing, AI has never installed a water heater in the southern summers. So how much does it really know? Well, today, we're going to find out. So you're ready to start your project. Now, it's frustrating to start a project and not have the exact tools and materials you need. We all hate going to the store time and time again for one little job. So I'm actually going to ask AI, what tools and materials do I need to replace a 50-gallon natural gas water heater located in an attic? Here we go, tools you'll need. Adjustable wrenches, pipe wrenches, channel locks, tubing cutters, pipe tape or pipe thread sealant, a basin wrench if access is tight, buckets and towels to manage water, a garden hose to drain the old tank, and then your basic utility knife, screwdrivers, drill driver, tape measure, flashlight if you need it, and a hand truck to get the old one down and the new one up. And if I keep scrolling down, there are optional but recommended tools. Gas leak detector, very important because we have a natural gas water heater. We want to check for leaks, and a shop vac. Important for our installation because our water heater actually is leaking and has filled the overflow pan with some water, so we want to make sure we get that out. So I'm really liking this list. Let's go wrangle up all these tools and get started. Okay guys, we have our list of tools, and AI also has given us a list of materials, and it has broken it down into 4 categories. And remember, we're trying to go to the store just one time. Number 1, plumbing, flexible, hot and cold water connectors. That's these 2 lines right here. Check. Dielectric unions or fittings. That feature is built into our connectors. We are going to talk about that later as well. A shutoff valve, 3/4 inch ball valve. We already have one. We're going to reuse it. It works great. There's no point in replacing it. TNP relief valve. It comes pre-installed on our unit, so we don't need that. The discharge pipe, that's this guy right here. AI says just get the pipe. It doesn't mention any fittings or glue, so we need to add that to our list as well. The drain pan. Ours works fine. We know it doesn't leak because it's actually holding water, so we're just going to reuse it to save some money. A 3/4 inch PVC pipe for the drain pan discharge. Now we already have that connected over here. This is old code. New code is 1 inch, but we're going to leave it like it is because it's working just fine. And of course, pipe insulation for our hot and cold. We'll get rid of this stuff and put on some nice new foam insulation. Now let's move on to the gas line and the venting. AI says I need a new flexible gas connector, gas rated pipe dope or tape, and a sediment trap. Well, a sediment trap is something you make, not something you buy. We'll talk about that later. On the venting, type B, double-walled vent pipe and fittings, high temp ceiling, roof flashing, and a CO detector near the attic access. Now we're going to reuse this B vent and some other fittings in order to save money. There's no reason to change this because a new one is exactly like that. And a plumber would probably reuse this as well. Now guys, remember, when you're going through your tool and material list and you determine that maybe I can reuse something like this B vent on your existing water heater, that's fine. Save yourself some money and just return the one you bought at the store that AI recommended. And the last little group of items that AI is recommending has to do with safety and code. So this depends on where you live and what your code requires. Do your own research where you live to see if any of those safety items are required. The very last one is a drip pan alarm. That would be cool, so if water gets in the pan, you have an alarm that tells you and it won't flood your house. Now that we know everything we need, let's go get all our tools and materials. And we are back from the store. We've got all our tools and materials. The water heater is downstairs in the truck. Now, why are we changing this water heater? 2 reasons. It is leaking. The pan is full of water and there's a leak in the tank somewhere. The other issue is this valve. We're getting error code 7, a defective gas valve. So we're just gonna rip the whole thing out of here and replace it. So now that we have all our tools and materials ready to go, let's ask AI, how do I remove an old water heater? Hey, AI, how do I remove a 50-gallon natural gas water heater from my upstairs attic?
It waved to you.
Yeah, I got it a wave. Here we go, got our list. Number 1, turn off the gas. Easy peasy, right there. 2, turn off the water. I can reach back here. We got a ball valve right there. Off. Number 3, turn off the power. We don't have any power connected to this. And 4, let the water cool. It's already cooled because guess what? It hasn't worked for 2 days. Step number 2, drain the tank. Attach a garden hose to the drain valve. Before we do that, let's show you how this works. Here's the drain valve, and let me open it. And I'm gonna show you a common problem we're gonna have with draining a water heater. So we get good water flow initially, right? But then it stops. Why? Because air can't get in the top of the tank. So AI says in step 3, open the T and P relief valve on the top or the side. That's this right here. You're gonna take this handle and you're gonna point it straight up. And now air is able to come back into the tank and water can come out. But that's coming out pretty slow, and we have a little pump. So we're actually gonna hook our pump to that and pump it outside. Coming out? Oh yeah, look at that. Way better. Thanks, Milwaukee. All right, the tank is empty. Now, typically, while the tank is draining, I'm going to be doing the very next step I'm going to show you. We waited because the pump was making that noise and you wouldn't have been able to hear it. So while your tank is draining, do these next steps. First, we're going to remove the gas line. We're going to put a crescent wrench on the fitting that's screwed into the body of the gas valve, right there. And now we're going to back off this nut on the hose. Shouldn't be very tight. There we go. Nice. Boom. And now I need this fitting because the new water heater is not going to come with that fitting. So we're just going to take it off right now. And we're going to store it right here so it doesn't get lost. And while we're removing stuff, AI also wants us to take care of the water lines. So I'm going to remove this insulation and we're going to replace it with something that's much better. We're going to throw this in the trash. And then I'm going to show you 2 awesome tricks that I don't think AI even knows about. Quick break in the video to type out the sponsor of today's video, Fanttik, and their M10 Ace cordless angle grinder. This is the first angle grinder that's rechargeable via USB. All right, we're at 100% charge. Let's check out this LED display. The fastest mode is polish. We use the knob to control it, metal and tile, and the slowest speed is wood and PVC. Let's go try it out. All right, guys, it has this awesome safety switch on it. You have to push up and then down to turn it on. So I've got it set for wood PVC. Let's see how it does on some wood. That does fine. Now let's crank it up to metal and cut off that nail. Perfect. Now we'll bump it up to the polish mode, make that all nice and smooth. Nice. And this little beauty weighs in at only 1.5 pounds, making it really easy to use. And it's packed with a 160-watt motor, developing up to 10,000 RPM. And in addition to the multi-material disc that you've seen us use already, it comes with a tile cutting disc, metal cutting disc, and a metal polishing disc. And Fanttik has an awesome Black Friday promotion going on right now. If you use the code STUDPACK66 at checkout, you're gonna get a total of 37% off your order. It's a great tool, perfect for the holidays. Thanks so much to Fanttik for sponsoring our video. We really appreciate it. Let's head back to work. First thing, let's remove the cold line from this pipe that is supplying the water heater. Cold water line is off, but look at this, the washer stayed on the fitting. So you gotta make sure you take that off, just like that. All right, let's remove the hot from the tank right here, and then I'm gonna show you those 2 cool tricks. Trick number 1, take this hose that's still connected to the cold right here and thread it onto the hot. A couple turns with the wrench. Now you have a handle to get the water heater out of here. At least you have a handle on one end. Now with the other hose, we're actually going to connect the hot and the cold together on the supply side. That is because if somebody in the house turns on the hot and cold water in a faucet, it's going to push cold water through the hot side and you're going to take a bath right here. So we're simply going to screw that onto that side, sealing off the hot and the cold. Now AI is doing a great job right now, but it's not going to prevent you from taking a little bath if someone turns that faucet on. But that will. So we did 1 and 2, but check it out. If we go up here, it says disconnect the hose from the T and P valve. Well, remember, that's this valve right here that we open to let air get into the tank to drain it. We don't have a hose, we have pipe. We have C PVC pipe. So I've got these Klein cutters right here. We're simply gonna cut them way down here. And you can already tell that this has been changed once. Look at the color of this pipe versus this pipe. And the plumber who did this before us made a huge mistake. Come around the side here, Jordan. Can you see this 90 right here compared to this one in the back? This one's actually lower. So that means if this T and P valve were to leak, or if somebody opened it to test it and then closed it, water would collect right here, acting like a P-trap. If we had a deep freeze here in Texas, that water in that pipe would freeze. Then, if the T and P were open, it couldn't relieve the temperature or the pressure in the tank because of that ice blockage. So it's very important that this line is always free-flowing downhill. And here's another issue with these T and P valves. Sometimes the water heater you're replacing, the old one, has the T&P valve on the top, and the pipe, this pipe for example, would go off to the side in a wall. You buy the new tank and the T&P's on the side. Now how do you get from this to that pipe? Well, most people will just take this pipe and do that into the wall. Now they've created the same thing we have here. They've created a trap. It has to flow down and out via gravity. So now that we know we gotta fix this, which is pretty easy, let's simply cut this pipe and we can remove the flue. Sweet. And I do need this fitting, so I'm gonna remove it from the T&P. Again, saving a few dollars by reusing some fittings. Nothing wrong with that at all. The last thing, vent pipe. Unscrew the vent connector or lift off of the draft hood. This is the draft hood or the inverter. And we can simply lift that off. Rad has already been on the roof and cut the sealant up there. We'll fix it later when we put this back down, but I can push that up as high as I need to. And there's the draft hood. I might just keep that in my plumbing supplies because I know a place that actually doesn't have one of these. The tank is completely empty and disconnected, so before we haul it out of here, let's see if this pump will remove this water in the pan so we don't make a big mess up here. Oh yeah, look at that. Dang. Step 5, safely remove the tank. It's all empty, we know that. Now it's very important to close this valve because when we carry it out of here, we don't want water coming out of here. There's a little bit of water left, right? You don't get it 100%. AI says to use a dolly, but we had this cool handle, and I got my son-in-law Rad. We're just gonna carry it downstairs. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Yep. Perfect. And guys, another thing that AI is not gonna tell you, if you have a leaking water heater, that means water is collecting in the bottom right here. Even though you pulled it out of the tank, water is still sitting in this little pan on the bottom of the water heater. You can see we spilled a little bit here, so you just gotta watch that. So we're gonna tip it again and get the water with our wet vac. Tight fit. So we got it outside. We'll be sure to dispose of this properly. Actually, in our town, there's a recycling center we can take it to, but first, let's clean up our little trail. Imagine if we had to go up the attic door. That'd be brutal. All right, before we put the water heater in this pan, we're gonna suck the rest of the water out, clean it up so it's nice and sparkly. It just fit through that door. Okay, Rhett.
Come get it from you?
Yeah, I can't stand up. Okay. That is probably the most difficult part of the whole installation. So we're making sure we don't crush the edge of the pan, right? We don't want to tip it or put any weight on the rim and bend it. Nice job, bud. Let's turn it a little bit. Boom, new water heater is in place. Now let's see what AI says about hooking it up. Okay, AI, we got the old water heater out of here, but you actually missed a couple of things. So make sure you watch StudPack's video on how to change a water heater and pick up a couple of tips. Now we got the new water heater sitting in the attic, in the pan. How do we hook it up? Nice, that's the hardest part done. Well, that's for sure. Getting the old one out of a Texas attic is no small feat. Must have been watching us, huh? That's crazy. Oh, and I'll include a couple of those StudPack style pro tips along the way. Nice.
Forgot the C.
Forgot the C. Before you start, double check. Heater is level in the drain pan. Check. Pan has a drain line run to the exterior. Check. Platform sturdy and clear of insulation or debris. Check. We've got all the tools and materials we talked about before. So step 1 is to connect the cold water supply inlet. That is exactly what I would do. Let's remove these and install our new lines. All right, guys, we found these nice color-coded hot and cold lines. Never seen them before, but that's pretty cool. And so the water heater is stamped with cold and hot. We'll put the blue one on the cold. You don't have to go crazy. There's a black washer in there, similar to the washer on your garden hose, and that's what makes the seal. So something I noticed, whoever installed this heater, probably the previous homeowner or a previous homeowner, they put Teflon tape on these threads. You don't need it. You only need Teflon tape on tapered threads. These are straight threads. The threads don't seal the pipe. That rubber washer I just showed you does. Like you wouldn't put tape on a garden hose, right? So we don't need it. So I took, well, most of it off. All right, cold water supply is attached. Let's scroll down, see what else is going on. What is that? A StudPack tip. What is AI watching our videos already? What does it even say? Always dry fit first. Then snug the flex connector hand tight and a quarter turn with pliers. Don't over torque. Well, that's just what I mentioned, right? You don't have to go crazy tight on these. All right, Next, step 2, connect the hot water outlet. That's exactly what I would do. All right, step 3, AI says hook up the T&P relief valve. Well, that is not what I would do next. If you're replacing a water heater, whether it's for yourself or somebody else, chances are they haven't had hot water for a couple of days and they're looking to take a shower really quick. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna turn the water on now and let this tank fill up while I'm working on the T&P and the gas line. And guys, before you fill your tank all the way and you can't move it at all, make sure your gas line reaches to the valve body like that, and make sure you can plumb in your T&P valve so it flows like it's supposed to. So now what it's doing, cold water's coming in here to the bottom of the tank, and the water's gonna push all the air out through this line into the hot side system of the house, out the bathtub faucet we just turned on. Now we can hook up our T&P valve. Let's see what AI says. The valve usually comes pre-installed. It is, correct. Attach a 3/4 inch discharge pipe. Must terminate within 6 inches. Got it? All we gotta do is hook this guy back up to here, and we got our T&P drain valve all hooked up. I got this dry coupling dry fitted. I'm gonna cut this one off, because if I do, well, see how brittle that pipe is? We're still good there, I feel like. Now that can go in there, and we've raised this pipe up, and we've taken care of that little belly that was in it. Now AI doesn't tell you how to glue the pipe together, so here's how you do it. We found this all-in-one CPVC cement, and it's got the primer in there. So I've already put glue in the coupling. Let's put a little on the pipe, and we'll put everything together. Okay, T&P is all done, and just like AI recommends, maintain a continuous downward slope, so we got rid of that belly, so perfect. Step 4, connect the gas line. Double check gas is off. It is off. Apply gas-rated pipe dope right here, Blue Monster, gas-rated, to the male threads only. So we're gonna put them right here on this fitting, not on the flare fitting right there, right there. And then we're gonna connect this hose to this fitting. Now this gas valve body, those are aluminum threads, so you got to be very careful that you don't strip them. We're just going to snug it up, and I think that's fine. Now we're going to connect the gas hose. This is a flare fitting. We don't need any pipe sealant here, and we don't need any pipe sealant or Teflon tape on those threads, because this nut is going to pull that fitting inside that hose, that flare, against the body of this flare and seal it against gas leaks. So now the fitting I installed first in the gas valve, I'm going to back it up with this wrench while I tighten this nut. That way I don't further tighten this fitting that I installed in the gas valve, risking stripping the threads. Okay, I'm tight, and I'm just going to snug it up. That's all I need. I'm going to come over here and just check this one. This one was here, but I'm just going to check it while I'm here. It's fine. Okay. AI, what you got for me next?
I think AI should be asking you that.
I got a few things I could say. Next step, turn gas back on and test for leaks using a soapy water spray at every joint. So I don't have soapy water spray, but I got this all-purpose leak detector. It comes with a dauber. I can control it a little more. That way I'm not spraying soapy water everywhere. So I love this stuff. All right, gas is on. Let's check for leaks. Now, if there was a leak, of course you would see tiny bubbles, right? You're gonna go here, right? Here, and against the valve body. 3 places you gotta check. And if there's a leak, what you're gonna see, it's literally gonna look like foam, right? Hundreds of tiny bubbles, or maybe a big one. Gotta put my glasses on for this one. As AI say, if you're over 60, put on your glasses so you can see. Oh yeah, this looks great. All right, bubbles equals a leak. Shut off gas and redo. We're good to go. Never use a flame to check for leaks. That is great advice. Oh, step 5, connect the vent pipe. First step, install the draft hood. That's this part right here, very important. Secure with screws. So that's interesting because this unit did not come with any screws. So I usually have a couple in my pocket. Let's see. Oh yeah, look, there we go.
Nice.
Very important, very important.
What kind of screws are those?
They're just little, look like number 8 sheet metal screws. You have 2 tabs, tab 1 and tab 2. Then you have these 2 supports with a hole in them. So if you look at the top of the water heater, the tabs go here in these like rectangular shaped holes, and the screws go in the ones that are punched right there. It would probably work the other way, but that's how I do it. There it is. Metal's thicker than I thought. All right, next, reattach or replace the type B vent. That's this guy. We're gonna pull it down. And it's gonna sit right over that draft hood. Now it says secure each joint with 3 sheet metal screws. So I'm not gonna try to put a screw in here. There's nothing to screw to it, in other words. So when Rad seals that up top at the roof, it's gonna prevent this from going up. Remember earlier he got up there and cut it? When he gets up there and seals that again, this pipe won't come off of this draft hood. All right, what's next? Hopefully turn this thing on. Oh look, another stud pack tip. Shine a flashlight up the vent and feel for strong draft once it's lit. All right, couple things AI. Number one, how am I gonna get a flashlight in there and look up that vent now that it's connected? And number two, once it's lit, I'm not sticking any part of my body in here because it's gonna be really, really hot, right? So guys, if you see a stud pack tip on AI and it's got 1K, it's not us. That's like a what? Timu tip or something. All right, AI, what's next? Got some water drops, fill the tank. We already did that. We opened the hot water faucet, we opened the cold, and we ran it until no more air was coming out, right, Rad?
Yeah.
Tank is full. Check every connection for water leaks. We did that. We are good. All right, step 7. We're going from water to fire. Light the pilot and start up. So let's come down here, Jordan. I'm going to get in front of you here. Switch positions. To light the pilot on this ream, it's very simple. Matches went away a long time ago. We're going to move this knob from off to pilot, straight down at 6 o'clock. Then we're going to push the knob. That's going to activate the gas flow to the pilot light. And we're going to push this igniter button. If you look in this window, you'll be able to see the spark, and then you can see when the pilot lights. Here we go, bud. There we go. I saw it in your phone. That was cool. So when we get a green light, there we go. We're blinking. Was that a blink?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, let's let go. All right, so now we're gonna light the water heater main burner, but first, this little VAC, vacation mode. If you're going out of town for a week or more, just turn that knob to vacation. The pilot stays lit, but you won't be heating all that water and wasting all that energy while you're gone. The only thing you gotta remember is you gotta turn it back on when you get home or you're gonna have a cold shower. All right, Rad, here we go. We're gonna go to low. It's gonna take a second, and then we should hear the main burner ignite. There we go.
Oh yeah, she's on.
All right, let's put the cover back on right here. All right, we did all that. Oh look, another stud pack tip without a C. Hold a smoke stick or tissue near the draft hood. The smoke should pull upward. All right, Rad, you got a match? Let's try it. All right, let's get some good smoke going here. Oh yeah, look at that.
Nice.
Did you get that, Jordan?
Yeah.
He's going right up. Cool. Last step, final checks. We did all that, good to go. Let's check out these optional upgrades. A panel alarm, that's great. If you want to do that, expansion tank not required. CO detector, super, super important. There's actually one right out here in the hallway, good to go. All right, guys, we are all done. According to AI, we should have hot water here very soon, but I do have one more question. Let me just ask this real quick. Hey, AI, we're all done with the water heater install. Thanks for all your help, but we have these 3 pieces of insulation. What do we do about those? Nice, congrats on finishing the install. Getting a water heater swapped out in a Texas attic is no joke. Those 3 pieces of insulation are almost certainly the ones that were around the hot and cold water pipes at the top of your old heater, sometimes the vent collar area. Okay, well, these came with the new water heater, so we're gonna apply them, we're gonna install them. They're too stiff to go on here, so we're gonna get some different insulation for there, and then we're gonna insulate all of these copper lines a lot better than that because we're in this attic and they can freeze. One more tip, always put the install date on the water heater. You got the date of manufacture on the label, but I like that date better because you know that's when it was installed, right? So can AI help you install a water heater? I think absolutely. There's a tool it missed, a few fittings that it missed, but overall it did a good job. We did a few things out of sequence, but that's because AI has never installed a water heater in a 140-degree Texas attic while the owners were downstairs waiting for hot water. So we sure hope you guys learned something from this video, and we really hope AI learned something from this video. I feel like I had some pretty good tips and tricks, right? So let's clean up, get out of here, and Rad, dude, man, take a shower, huh?